What is up, YouTube? It is September 19th of 2020. I am here at a new creek that I've never fished before. This is Pigeon Creek, completely new to this spot. I just found it today and I decided that I'm going to explore it and fish it today. So to get started, I got my usual setup, my trusty Ugly Stik GX2 6-foot medium light rod, Daiwa Ninja 2000 LT reel, Leland Lures S.O.S trout line 4-pound test, and to go along with that we got the Leland Lures trout magnet in black color to imitate a little water insect or something like that, maybe a little crayfish. So I'm gonna be wading the creek. It's a little chilly today, so I got my waders on, and we're gonna see if we can find any fish in this creek. This is a completely new spot to us. I have no idea what's in here, so it should be quite the adventure today, and we'll see what comes up. Hopefully something cool, maybe a new species, although I don't want to get my hopes up. Out of the first deep pocket I've casted, and I haven't seen anything sizable yet, although I do see something down there. I'm not sure what it is. Guys, we just ended up getting our first fish of the day, and it is none other than the creek chub. There it is. Nice little creek chub. I was kind of thinking that school that I was casting at were creek chubs, but that is our first fish of the day. I didn't have to break out the Tanago hooks quite yet, so that's good. I'm going to verge a little bit more downstream and see what else comes up other than a bunch of creek chubs, because there's a school of about 50 of them out in front of me right now. But that is a decent first catch of the day. All right, time to unhook our little creek chub here. There he is. Go ahead and let him go. All right, now let's head downstream, see what else we can find. There's a big school of something down here right under this log jam. I'm waiting to see what it is. None of them have taken the bait yet, but it looks like there's a variety of species mixed in. Probably a couple shiners, couple chubs or something like that. See if we can get one to be aggressive right here. Yep, there's one. Let's see. Oh, he just took a dirt nap. All right, another creek chub. Go ahead and toss him back around that log jam and start working my way farther downstream. I believe this should take me around the Schuylkill River. Still haven't figured out what those shiners are I'm seeing yet. I just spooked something big, whatever it was. But hopefully the closer we get to the river, the cooler stuff we can find. Guys, we got our second species of the day coming up, and it is a fall fish. This one was kind of expected. I thought I saw a few roaming around here, but there's our first one of the day. Not anything huge, but nice little fall fish. Came on the trout magnet once again. We still have yet to switch the Tanago hooks, although I'm probably going to do it eventually, sooner or later. Don't know how well you guys can see this from the camera, but there are 4 old pillars right in front of me. They're, I guess, brick pillars, and they look really old. There's trees growing out of them and everything, and there's just a huge wall of just stumps and things that have collected there for probably decades now. I guess this was an old bridge back in the day, but it is just a bunch of sticks right now. I don't know how I'm gonna get around it or if I'm gonna get around it, but I'm gonna try, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, guys, we did it. We used our monkey-like climbing skills to scale this massive clump of trees and debris, and we are on to fish the other side. This actually looks pretty cool. I wonder if there's anything good back here, like maybe some good bass or something like that. I think we are getting closer to the Schuylkill River, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some river species that start showing up. So hopefully that paid off. Otherwise, we just scaled those trees for a couple of chubs and some fall fish. Let's get a move on and see what pops up. I'm just about at the Schuylkill River, but there is another wave of downed trees blocking my way. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the river or not. I might try for a short bit, but if it gets too deep or I start sinking, I'm just going to turn around because it's not worth getting stuck over, because Schuylkill River doesn't tend to hold a lot of fish. Alright guys, if we want to get close to the river, we're going to have to take a bit of a detour through the jungle. Hopefully it pays off. The mighty Schuylkill River. Now, am I going to catch a fish out of it? Probably not, unless it's going to be really small, because there are a lot of micro species I'm seeing. But if I wade out any further, I will be about in 5 feet of water, and that's a little more than my waders can handle. So I'm going to head back to the bank, try and dig up some worms, put on the good old Tanago hooks, try and do some micro fishing, get our species count up for the day. And after that, we'll see what happens, because I don't know if anything new will show up or not. I did see one little largemouth bass, and I tried casting at it a couple times, but other than that, didn't see anything really worthy of targeting right there in the river. So we're gonna go ahead and go climb through some sticks and see if we can find some worms for us to use. Of worms right there. Flipped over one log, got pretty much all I needed, maybe a bit too much, but always take a couple more than you probably need, because you never know if one's going to escape or several are going to escape. I've had my whole bag disappear on me once or twice, so always stock up a bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the Tanago hooks tied on, and maybe a new species will show up, but we'll definitely find out what those shiners are. We finally got our Tanago hook and bait set up. Now it's just time to see what's lurking in the Schuylkill River this time of day. Guys, I caught one of the unknowns. What do we have here? I don't know what that is. I believe it's just a swallowtail shiner, but I will have to confirm. Neat little fish. Strong in the river. I don't want to be swept away, at least not today. So we're gonna back off and go back to the creek and do our micro fishing over there. See how it pays off, whether we get a new species or something we've seen before. Back to the creek, and walking back through the jungle, I got caught by a thorn bush and I had a spider land on my back, so don't know where the spider went, so if I turn into Spider-Man, I won't be surprised. All that just for one little minnow. Guys, we got yet another species for the day. I just sight fished this guy. Nice little largemouth bass. That makes 4 species for the day. The first actual game species I found in this creek, and look how tiny it is. It is super small. Let's go ahead and let Mr. Largemouth go. Little guy. He's going back to his little hole. Alright guys, it took me a while to get this one. I've been sight fishing it for a while, but we finally got our first sunfish of the day. Nice little bluegill. Came on the Tanago hook. There's a whole bunch of different fish down there. I'm just trying to pick them off one at a time, but it's being quite the challenge. Let our little bluegill go. and see if there's another fish that wants to get checked off the list right here. Guys, we finally got our next species after that bluegill. I believe it's a Spotfin Shiner. It's got the little spot on the dorsal fin right there. It's not showing it right now, but counting that bluegill and that Spotfin Shiner, we are up to, I think, 5 species. Because we were at 3 and then added 2. So we are at 5. See if we can get to 6, or are we going to stay at 5 for the day? Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. Not too much to be found in Pigeon Creek, if I'm going to be honest. There's just a whole lot of chubs and minnows, or technically the term should be shiners. Mostly Spotfin Shiner that are in the actual creek itself. Other than that, I found some possible swallowtail shiner out on the river, and there's just a few little largemouth that are in the creek. That's the only real game fish, if you want to call it that, that's in here. Only thing I would have liked to go better is I targeted a northern hogsucker for about 30 minutes and was not able to catch it. I have not caught a northern hogsucker yet from my lifeless, so that's the one thing I would have liked out of this trip, out of what I saw that was in here. But maybe we'll be back to catch them another day, or just find a better spot in total to catch them. So I'm gonna go home now. I'm gonna grab some dinner and hopefully watch the Phillies win the series against the Blue Jays tonight. On that note, I'll see you on the next episode of the Ville Outdoors.